Every morning is a new battlefield, a fresh beginning. And the Stoics believe that how you rise at dawn decides how you stand the storms of the day. Marcus Aurelius himself reminded us in his meditations that when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. And that simple thought is not just poetry. It is an instruction, a command to wake up with gratitude, to recognize that life is fragile and time is slipping away, whether you are prepared or not. So to conquer your day through Stoicism, you must begin with intention, not by drifting into distraction or laziness, but by declaring to yourself that today is yours to rule, that no circumstance, no insult, no obstacle has more power over you than your own disciplined mind. The Stoics practice what we now call premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils, preparing their thoughts at dawn for whatever challenges may come. And Marcus Aurelius would tell himself that the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. And they are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. But I cannot be harmed by them, for no one can implicate me in ugliness. And in this way he stripped the sting from insults and the shock, from setbacks, because when you expect storms, you're never surprised by rain. When you expect obstacles, you're never broken by resistance. And so the first Stoic practice for morning motivation is to remind yourself that life is unpredictable. People may be unkind. Events may turn against you. But none of these things can rob you of your inner fortress unless you hand them the key. Gratitude, discipline, and perspective are the three shields of which you must rise. And Seneca warned that he is wise who does not grieve for what he lacks but rejoices in what he has. So when your eyes open in the morning, do not immediately think of what is missing. Instead, give thanks for the gift of breath, for a body that moves, for a mind that can think, for another opportunity to walk the path of virtue, because gratitude transforms scarcity into abundance, and when you live in abundance, you are harder to shake, harder to defeat, harder to discourage. The Stoics urge us to live each day as if it were complete in itself, not merely a rehearsal for tomorrow. And Marcus Aurelius carved the truth into words, saying you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. And though some call it morbid, it is in fact liberating. Because when you remember death, you stop wasting mornings on trivial arguments, endless scrolling, procrastination, and fear of opinions. You begin to ask yourself, if today were my last, would I waste it this way? And the answer reminds you to live with urgency, with courage, with clarity. The first thoughts of the morning are like the captain steering your ship, and if you let them drift into laziness, resentment, or distraction, your day follows the same course. But if you set them on discipline, gratitude, and strength, you command your day with authority. And this is why Epictetus taught that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And your very first reaction to life is how you rise from your bed. Do you rise with discipline, or do you surrender to comfort? Do you conquer the first 5 minutes, or do you let them conquer you? Because victory over yourself in that moment sets the rhythm for everything that follows. Most people lose their day by losing their morning, by choosing the snooze button over strength. But the Stoic rises not because he feels like it, but because it is his duty. And in that decision, he proves to himself that he is stronger than weakness, greater than comfort, bigger than fear. Distraction is the next enemy. And in our modern world, the first thing most people do is reach for their phone, surrendering their peace to noise before they have even mastered their own mind. But the Stoic knows that the admired man does not begin his day with the voices of strangers. He begins it with his own clarity. He journals, he reflects, he breathes, he reads wisdom. He arms his soul before walking into the chaos of the world. And this simple discipline separates the man who owns his day from a man who is owned by it. Control is the essence of Stoicism, and the key to morning motivation is to remind yourself what is in your control and what is not. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices belong to you. The weather, the traffic, the opinions of others do not. So why waste anger, energy, and time on things you cannot command? Why surrender your peace to what lies beyond your reach? Instead, anchor yourself in what you can shape and release the rest. For when you do, frustrations shrink, insults lose their teeth, and disappointments turn into tests of strength. And so every morning becomes a sacred training ground, a rehearsal for life and a preparation for death, a battlefield where you practice resilience before the war begins, a temple where you remind yourself that virtue is the only good, vice the only evil, and everything else is indifferent. And by rising with gratitude, expecting hardships, guarding your first thoughts, avoiding distractions, focusing only on what is in your control, and reminding yourself of mortality. You step into the day, not as a victim of events, but as a master of yourself. And that is how you conquer your day the Stoic way. To continue conquering your day with Stoic wisdom, remember that starting strong is only half the battle. The real test is carrying that strength to the hours ahead, because many people wake with energy but lose at the first challenge. Yet the Stoic carries discipline like armor, steady and consistent, not depending on mood but on duty. For Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. And that means your day is not won by thoughts, but by actions, not by what you plan, but by what you actually do. The Stoics taught that emotions will rise, anger, fear, envy, frustration. But you must not become their slave. Seneca warned no man is free who is a slave to himself. So when insulted, pause. When provoked, breathe. When tempted, remember your purpose. Because freedom is not found in doing whatever you feel, but in ruling over your impulses. To conquer your day, you must also conquer your work. Because vague wishes never build a strong life. Only focused action does. So write down your duties and face them without delay. For tomorrow is never promised, and procrastination is a thief of life. The Stoics welcome challenges as opportunities to grow. Epictetus said difficulties show what men are. So instead of cursing problems, use them as training. For the body grows stronger by lifting weight, and the mind grows stronger by lifting burdens. To stay unshaken, you must live with purpose. For a man without aim is tossed by every wave. And Seneca wrote, if a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. So each morning remind yourself of your destination, and then walk your path with courage regardless of storms. Simplicity also strengthens the soul. For it is not the man who is little, but the man who desires more who is poor. And when you free yourself from endless wants, you become harder to disturb. Do not compare your path to another's, for envy robs peace. Instead, focus on your own progress. At night, reflect honestly. Where did I fall? Where did I succeed? What must I improve tomorrow? Because self-examination is not for shame, but for growth. And above all, remember that life is short, that death is always near, and this is not a thought to make you afraid, but to make you urgent. For Marcus Aurelius said, it is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. So do not waste your mornings or your days waiting for a perfect time. The perfect time is now. If you rise with gratitude, act with discipline, accept challenges as teachers, and live with courage, you will not only conquer your day, you will conquer your life. Because life itself is nothing more than a series of days, and by winning today, you begin to win forever. Outro. So tomorrow when the sun rises and you open your eyes, remember the Stoic way. Gratitude first, discipline next, courage always. Do not surrender to comfort. Do not waste time in distraction. Do not let fear hold you back. Rise strong, live strong, conquer your day. And when you look back, you'll see that by conquering your days one by one, you have conquered your entire life.